all right. Let me get this thing going one way or another. I really thank everybody for tuning in. It is a pleasure doing this talk, but we got to talk this Dez Bryant, man. I know a lot of people don't want to hear the talk, and what we got to do, we got to talk it, man. It's one of those things where a major decision is about to happen. We all understand that. What can Dez do with us or without us, you know? And that's the thing. Is Dez going to be able to try to say, okay, I want to take this pay cut, I want to take less money to stay on the team? Or would Dez say, okay, hey, I produced, I put that out there on the field, I played injured, I did everything I was supposed to do. Yeah, I'm gonna admit, I'm gonna fall on the sword. I was never the guy that was always the captain of the team as far as having the C on my chest. And yes, I've been late for a few practices, but man, don't do me like this, basically. And the thing is, when you have a player that's been on the team for a while, you know, you begin to say to yourself, man, I want to retire with this number 88. I want to retire with this team. And you should feel that way. I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel that way. You should feel that way. But my thing is with Dez Bryant, and what I really want him to do, and what I really want the Cowboys fans to do too as well, is to think about this bigger picture. And the best thing could be for Dez is for him to actually leave. But on the flip side, have anybody think about this? You know, what about expanding Dez's contract? What about pushing his contract out for 2 years, and now you can cushion the blow? What about giving him upfront guaranteed money? That will cushion the blow. You see what I'm saying? There's other ways too as well. We figured out how to keep Jason Witten on the team. We figured out how to keep the other players that's on the team, just to look at the offensive line. But neither here nor there. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's just one of those things where it's what Dez Bryant is going to do, what he can do, what he can't do. But let's take a look at first thing first, right? They talked about Dez all morning, and I didn't get a chance to really dive into it until now. But let's hit this.
Already the one where Dez is most likely going to be asked to take a pay cut, but he's already said he doesn't want to. So it's probably just going to be awkward. Speaking of awkward, that one, yeah. Well, it's reportedly happening Friday. Bryant is due $12.5 million with a $16.5 million cap hit in 2018. So, Chris, how badly do the Cowboys need to make it work with Dez Bryant?
I mean, the Cowboys have to make it work with Dez Bryant because they're trying to get Dak Prescott back on track. What trips me out about it is the Dallas Cowboys act like they didn't know that Dez Bryant was going to have a $16.5 million cap number when they gave him a deal back in 2015. Like, you knew this moment was coming. You were going to have to address it.
Right. If he wasn't one of the top 5 wide receivers, like, you were going to come to him either to give him some more guaranteed money to reduce that cap number or extending.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, no matter what, I think what you're saying is if he had played like a top 5 wide receiver, you'd still want to redo some of the deal to lower the cap number. You would just send the guarantee, and if he hadn't, you'd want to make him take a pay cut. Go ahead.
Well, the fact that they have another year on this after 2018, I think that's going to give them some flexibility. They can convert some of that base salary this year into roster bonus and push some of that money into the following year. Just kick the can down the road another year or so, because you need Dez Bryant on this roster to.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Like I said before, if you extend his contract, you would then have the ability to put in pieces in places. But the thing is, we fight against Father Time, right? We fight against aging receivers. And of course, we do know that Dak Prescott is not putting the ball on the money like he should. But my thing is, my only battle cry to this whole thing, and a lot of people get my message all misconstrued, is that they say, okay, Law Nation saying that Dez must go. I hate Law Nation, you know, all this stuff. What I'm saying is that it takes time for the chemistry to develop, and not everybody can just have that immediate chemistry to happen out there. And if you guys come and think about it, I got film and tape, of course. I got Dez Bryant to Tony Romo to Dez Bryant's second year. Those years wasn't like what we saw in 2014 or 2013, what a lot of people could remember. It took time, and I'm gonna let you guys know this too as well. Tony Romo at that time was a veteran quarterback, so it took time. And as we can look back at the revisionist history, we can say, hey, we do not want the Cowboys to repeat themselves, because to me personally, they let go T.O. too soon, right? They let go T.O. and then we drafted Dez Bryant, and we was like, okay, we're going to slap number 88 on his chest and the rest is going to be history. And it didn't happen the way we thought it was going to happen. We put all our chips in the basket with number 19. We thought that Miles Austin at the time was everything, but he couldn't get his hamstrings together. So what I'm saying is that we got to look at this thing collectively and say, okay, how can we better our team? We do need defensive help. One can say, okay, all right, well, the defense was ranked overall 8th overall in defense, but we rarely had takeaways. We only had one guy that was pretty much explosive all year on the front four, and you guys know what his name is, D Law. So what we trying to do here is that what we can do to help this defense out, and we never know what to draft. We do know that you're not going to get a lot of stuff from Dez now, far as the free agency or the trade, because they're going to look at it from this aspect. Why would we want to trade with somebody that we know you guys going to eventually cut, you know? So there's so many things that's in the fray. But let's listen in back to what Spears had to say, because he had some good points. Or Chris Canty, I meant to say, had to say. He had some good points.
To help get Dak back on track. Dez Bryant is probably the most veteran wide receiver that you have. Yes. And he's the only guy that's on that roster that's a proven difference maker. Like the other guys that you have, they haven't rounded out, and they're possibilities. Allen Hurns, I love the free agent signing, but that's a possibility. We don't know what he's going to be with the Dallas Cowboys, and we couldn't point to any year in Jacksonville where we can say that guy made a difference in terms of wins and losses. So I got to look at this Dez Bryant situation and say the Cowboys, they don't have as much leverage as people might think they do, because they need Dez Bryant on this team.
Well, that speaks to the question that I asked earlier, which is, I understand the logical thing, I think, for all parties is for the Cowboys and Dez to come together, recognize where he's been in his career, and say, hey, let's lower the cap hit a bit, convert some of this guaranteed money into, or some of this salary into reachable incentives. Get to 1,000 yards, you get this. You get to 8 touchdowns, this. 10 touchdowns, this. I understand why for both parties it would seem fair, it would seem logical. But if I'm Dez and Dez's agent, part of me wants to say, what if we just say no to everything? Can you afford not to have me? Can you, if he refuses to change anything?
Right. The problem with a decision like that is, Nick, the agent and the player are in business together. Like you can't try the organization that it makes your business bad, because if you give that advice to a guy, you need to be able to replace those dollars, and you can't tell him, hey Dez, I got 3 teams that'll pay you $10 to $14 million. So if you take that chance, you also risk the chance of losing him as a client when you decide to have them cut you. And then you go out there and you can't fetch that type of salary.
The question that I want to ask you, though, is do you think they'd cut him?
I don't think they'll cut him, because when you look at the dead money that's going to be on that contract, I mean, it doesn't necessarily.
No doubt, no doubt. It's going to be a weird thing, man. I had to hit pause right quick on Chris. But it's going to be one of those weird things. If you cut Dez, you're going to figure out and say, okay, why I didn't get anything from this cut. You know, yes, I'm getting money. My thing is, what's the New England Patriots way? You know, and I hate to compare the two teams because we far apart from one another. But they would never just let a guy walk. Shout out to JR, what is it, Jesse in the house, man. Shout out to Kimberly too as well. Shout out to you guys, Castillo, and production produced by Germ. Shout out to you two as well that's in the house. But the thing is, and what I'm saying is, I want something from things that's on my team. I don't want to just cut a guy and say, okay, we're going to free up space. Because if that's the case in the scenario, why in the world is Tyrone Crawford still on his team? You know, they should have been cutting him many times ago. But it's just one of those things where it's the Cowboys. We do fall in love with our players. We do coddle our players. And it's just becoming one of those things where it's now, by us holding on too long with all our star players, is becoming a problem, or with all our players that we think that's going to become a star has become a problem, or is a problem, because one can argue and say, well, Jason Witten, it's been time, you know, or Tyrone Crawford, it's been that time. So we got a lot of things to put together. let's listen to more of what these guys have to say, though.
He's $16.5 million against the cap on the team. He's $8 million against the cap if you cut him. So you'd save $8.5 million.
You'd have to make it a post June 1. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to make it a post June 1 cut.
Yes.
But here's what I'm saying. There's a reason why the owner is meeting with Dez Bryant. Jerry Jones is going to try to finesse this situation into appeal to Dez Bryant, the nostalgia and the appeal of being a Dallas Cowboy. Hopefully that means something to Dez, where he'll do something that's in the best interest of the team. But if you're Dez Bryant, I mean, you're in a situation where you're saying to yourself, okay, anything short of just trying to restructure the deal versus having to take a pay cut, I might try to force the Dallas Cowboys' hand, because to me, I don't think it's a realistic possibility that they move away from him.
Our original question, who needs who more? Do the Cowboys need Dez more, or does Dez need the Cowboys more?
I feel like the Cowboys need Dez Bryant more. I think Dez Bryant is a highly employable individual. And I know
not at that money, though.
Not at that money. He's not going to get the same salary on the open market, especially at this time during the season, because everybody's doing their draft plans. The big part of free agency is already done. The guys that got the big money, that's already taken place in the first week of free agency. Dez Bryant is not going to be that player. That being said, I still think he's going to command a reasonable salary, just because it's a pass-oriented league. It's driven by quarterbacks, and Dez Bryant is a pass catcher. Although he's not a vertical threat, I still think he can be a receiver that can be competitive outside the numbers, go up and get those 50-50 balls. He's just not going to create the vertical separation that he once did.
Yeah, I believe he can do that too. But can he do it in primetime games? Can he do it in a big-time conference? Will he have some type of a competent quarterback to be able to throw it to him? Does he have the best offensive line? Does he have Zeke back there running the ball? All those things, based on the teams who have.
Man, I'm so tired of people talking about our offensive line. Man, when I did some research on our team as far as last year with this offensive line, my God. I mean, we do have some pieces out there, but, man, can we really bet everything on 77 being healthy? Can we really bet everything on Chaz Green or Jonathan Cooper or Marcus Martin or even the guy Cam Fleming? I mean, they need to just stop this stuff, man. They really need to stop talking about this offensive line. I just want us to just go out there and play, run the ball if we can. We're a run-first team. Of course, I understand that. But we just need to figure out a way to just get out there and say, okay, we're going to line them up. We're going to run, and then we're going to pass. That's what we really need to do. As far as this Dez Bryant, man, I think that when he goes into that meeting tomorrow, I think that Jerry Jones, the mind maker, the playmaker of money, right? I think that since he, pretty much Dez Bryant is like his son too as well. When he came into the league, everybody cast aspersions on Dez Bryant with his mama situation, with the Deion Sanders putting his hands all into the mix, and also with, recently when he signed with Rock Nation. Shout out to Rock Nation. But it was just one of those things where Dez Bryant been always under the spotlight with the Cowboys. He can't chew gum and spit it out. Somebody's going to cry something. And then with the catch, no catch situation, with the catching the ball, almost winning the game with the pinky out of bounds. It was so many things through Dez's career, when even his rookie year. One can argue and say, well, Dez Bryant would have been the rookie of the year that year if he had not broke his foot. Because people fail to realize he was doing kickoff returns and things of that ilk. So it's so many things that Dez Bryant, is he going through like a situation where he walked under the ladder, he broke some mirrors, or he crossed the street at night, while a black cat crossed the street in front of his path. With all these things that happened with Dez, with Tony Rome's going down. And I said before, man, years before, and I said it this year too as well, and years before, is that when Tony Romo took that money, we all had the notion to say, okay, it's good that Romo got the money, but at the same time, you're not going to have the defense that you want because we paying one side of the field so much money. And then we're not going to be able to put the offensive line, And then we had DeMarco Murray, but we rarely used him. Well, we saw a glimpse of things of what DeMarco Murray could become. And I think latter part of 2012 and the latter part of 2013, then they say, okay, the bigger picture will be, let's just shove the ball down our opponent's face with DeMarco Murray, and then let's be a run-first team, and let's pass the ball gently with this Tony Romo situation. But neither here nor there. It's one of those things. So I'm gonna play the rest of this thing out, man, and then I'll come in and I'll take you guys come in after this, okay?
Have space, Cowboys have space, and also need a wide receiver. None of those things are available for them. So before you overplay your hand, all right, before you decide to, I'm going to leave the star and go to these other oppositions, I just believe the responsibility should be spread around. The Dallas Cowboys fired most of their offensive staff. They have a new wide receiver coach. So you bring in a new wide receiver coach saying it's going to help Dez. Well, you have to let that process take place. So they do owe Dez a certain amount of courtesy and a conversation that if they hired a new coach who's supposed to help me, the only way he can help me is me being here. So for me, Jerry going to talk to him compared to someone else, it means that they will come to some type of compromise. But also, Jerry and the rest of that staff, they need to spread some of this pressure to their quarterback. Because in year number 3, a lot of the passing game responsibility is on the quarterback. And all these conversations we've had about Dez taking a pay cut, no one has mentioned the quarterback and Dak's inability under the gun to be able to deliver the football or get better in year number 2. So I want Dez to stay in Dallas, take a pay reduction, but I want some of that pressure on that passing game to be dispersed on the wide receiver coach.
Hey, we do know how much Chris Carter don't like Dez Bryant in certain fashions, right? You know, for him to say he want Dez Bryant to stay on the Cowboys and for him to spread the blame out to Dak Prescott. I do know when I talk about Dak Prescott, a lot of people say, oh, man, Law, man, you must love Dak Prescott. Why don't you guys get a room together or something? The thing is, man, I understand last year it was his second year. And you guys know I grade players hard. You know what I mean? I don't let nobody skate. So if Dak Prescott have the same type of year last year, and granted, I'm telling you, the offensive line was porous. The defense did play pretty well at times and stuff like that, but we did not react pretty well when Sean Lee was off the field, basically, right? One can say that, without Sean Lee, we might have been minus 1 or 2 games. Neither here nor there. Let me answer this question with T. Will. The thing is with T. Will, unapologetic truth, he took a very decent, loyal deal, and now all of a sudden he's injured this year. And by him being injured, the problem is that he's not tradable. Nobody's going to buy damaged goods. And the thing is with that, if you go out and you try to say, okay, who's going to trade for T. Will, they only have tape from 2017. They're not going to look at 16 tape. They're going to look at 2015 tape, and they're not going to look at 2014 tape. They're going to look at 2017 tape, and they say, nah, I'm not finna give you guys that. I'm not finna get you guys off that hook. So the thing is, the best thing for T. Will to do is go on injury reserve, be out for week 9, come back on week 9 and see what he can do. But this is amazing, man, for Chris Carter to go on whims and say, okay, I want Dez Bryant back on the team. And this is amazing. I want Dez Bryant back on the team. And let's spread the burden throughout the whole entire Dallas Cowboys. Let's stop focusing on one player. Let's talk about this coaching staff. Let's talk about Dak Prescott inability to push the ball down the field. Let's talk about this. So, hey, kudos to Chris for being now, as Fox News would say, fair and balanced. Appreciate that, Chris, but to being fair and balanced on that, let's keep continuing to
coach on the offensive coordinator and on Dak to be able to deliver the ball and be better in year number 3.
And one of the other reasons that I said the logical thing for both parties is to find a way to make it work, to not do the game of chicken that I was proposing maybe the agent would suggest for Dez, because I agree with you. I don't think they would cut him. I'm not certain they wouldn't cut him. I don't think they would. Can Dez run the risk that they'd cut him? Not because he can't recoup the money. Maybe the agent can say, hey, we know the Jets. The Jets have talked to me. They're not supposed to, but we're going to give them the money. We do have to keep in mind how long it took Dez to get acclimated to Dallas, right? You remember that Jerry had, was it a chaperone? He had a security Dez has seemingly, for the first time in his career over the last few years, gotten his off-the-field life in order to a degree.
Yes.
If you want to
give him credit for that.
Right, give him credit for that. But also, I think you go to a new city with a new team, with new whether it's distractions or potential pitfalls, that then opens up that box again. That's not what Dez wants. That's not what anybody wants. So that's another reason why the logical thing is to find a way to make it work.
You're absolutely right. Better to deal with the devil you know than the devil that you don't. But in negotiations, the person that's willing to walk away is always going to win.
Chris Canny,
Great
thanks
job.
so much.
No doubt. So no doubt, deal with the devil, you know, not calling Dez Bryant the devil. But hey, that was some good conversation, man. I really appreciate those that's in the chat box. Just give me your thoughts, man. Give me your opinions, your emotions too as well. You know, we here, we speak freely on a lot of things. Let me see if I can pull you guys up. That chat box. Gotta find a chat box up, guys. Well, there you go. All right, so now that I have you guys on the screen, you guys with me. So neither here nor there. I want to know you guys' thoughts, man. We did let go of DeMarco Murray with no trades. Yeah, that's true. We did let go of D-Ware with nothing in our hand. And we did let go of Tony Romes. Eventually let go of Tony Romes. Those were three big people that was on our organization for some quite time. And I hate to say this, you know, it's just one of those things where you know for sure that the Patriots wouldn't just let a guy go. They're gonna get something. And it was amazing how they got something for Garoppolo. You know, it was amazing how they got something for the wide receiver. They traded to the Rams for a first and a sixth round. So, I mean, it's just one of those things. Jerry Jones might have lost his touch with Willing and Dillon. We do know when you will and deal, you got to figure out a way. We let go of T.O. and got nothing. Yes, that's right. JVZ, shout out to you, man. Sup, Law. Hey, man. Hey, it is what it is. David Logan. Shout out to you, Ray in the house. Shout out to you, Luis Sanchez, Ty Jefferson, Kim, Mike Larry, Joseph Sterling. I think that's Dark Knight 13215. I couldn't imagine Dez in another uniform. Hey, it's gonna take some getting used to, man. If Dez Camp go in there tomorrow and say, look, I don't care what you guys are trying to sell. We Rock Nation. We don't take no pay cut around here. We rock ROC Nation. We're going to come up in here and we want to get either more money for the production that we did, or we want something, you know, maybe guaranteed money up front. Those are things that I'm thinking that they might just roll into. Jackson, shout out to you, Corey. Julian Gonzalez, shout out to you, William Minor Jr. Salute, man. That's a wonderful name. Davion James, hey man, what's up, guys? All right, unapologetic truth. It's not that Chris Carter cares. It's just that he become so obnoxious that it is personal. I mean, a lot of people taking this stuff personal, man. With this Dez Bryant talk, man, all this week, Dez. All this stuff is personal now. People hit me up in inboxes, people tagging me in videos and stuff like that. And it's just one of those things where I'm sitting here saying to myself, okay, pump the brakes. I do understand that you fallen in love, you fell in love with Dez Bryant. Hey, man, we all throw up the X. Everybody that's in his inbox can't tell me that they never threw up the X. You know what I mean? Somebody, just be honest to me. Everybody in his inbox at least threw up the X one time. As a matter of fact, somebody right now throwing up the X. It's just one of those things that is contagious. And when we win, it's all good. But when we lose, it's all bad because everything is just magnified, especially in the Big D. You guys know how it go. When you see that city, behind me, that city is everything to the NFL. Everything. And you know how it goes, man. When we lose, it just seemed like the world is coming to an end. But when we win, you got people in China, Florida, you got people in Brazil, South Africa, Mexico saying, how about them Cowboys? So it's just one of those things that every year that when we have a bad season, and think about this on the bright side, to be optimistic just a little bit, 13-3, Dak Prescott to Dez first year, and now 9-7. Those are 2 winning years back to back, and it's been a long time, man. Look at Andrew. He got X's all over the field, man. JVZ, look at him, man. Look, I'm telling you guys got to love that, and that's contagious. And I think that Jerry Jones, the billion-dollar money maker, movie shaker, however you want to call it, the guy that makes everything happen and just make things happen, you know, I don't think that he want to lose that piece of his franchise. And this is such a beautiful story, right? A kid that grew up loving the Dallas Cowboys, who from Lumpkin, Texas, you know, who grew up with a hardship life. He lost his, I think he lost his grandfather or his dad a year before last in 2016. How remarkable and how much of a blessing it will be if the Dallas Cowboys can win the Super Bowl and he get on that stage and he throw up the X one good time. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm really saying before I leave and all this good stuff. Just think about this, and I know a lot of people will be upset about this, right? But you shouldn't be upset about it. It's just life. It's football, right? Let's say the positive, the pros outweighs the con. And we go in there tomorrow in Rock Nation to convince Jerry Jones to extend this guy for 2 years. He will be what, 32, 31 or something like that. Or let's convince, if the Rock Nation say, okay, give this man $7-8 million up front, the guaranteed money up front, and let's put him on a conditional basis. Let's put him on a measurement tool, and that could be very dangerous because you're playing with fire, right? Because Dez Bryant is the emotional guy. We can't agree with that, right? But at the same time, if you manage to do that, and we manage, because I'm really feeling that this schedule is a whole lot easier from last year, and I'm thinking that we don't have to worry about the actual Ezekiel Elliott off the field. Everybody knock on wood right now, right? We knocking on wood. So now you have a better pedigree of the offensive line. All of this losing stuff is not out the window. All of this stuff where Dak Prescott can't hit water if he fell out of the boat is out the window. And if we start winning this thing, and you guys, don't you know how crazy it will be if on that stage, Dak Prescott, Dez Bryant, reliable, somehow stay on this team and stay, you know, put places together. And if Sean Lee can if reliable can rub off some of his stuff on Sean Lee and keep Sean Lee healthy for 16 weeks and beyond, right? And we on that trophy, we on that Super Bowl, we win the Super Bowl and Dez Bryant throw up the X. Wouldn't that be nice? Man. Man, that's all the time I have for today. I really thank you guys for yours. And remember, you guys are still listening to nothing but the best. Salute. I'm out, man. Oh, man, I got to jam the music, man. Where the music at? Man, you guys know when I play this music, man, to give me crumb. I see you, man. Shout out to you. I can't say your name. Toro-licious. D-Town, man. What's up, fam? Unapologetic Truth. Shout out to you. Verm B. Sleepy Outlaw. Man, that's a good ass name, man. Sleepy Outlaw, man. I love that name. One of the best names on YouTube right now.